If you're a financial advisor and you're thinking about setting goals for your business, thinking about the upcoming year, or even if it's halfway through the year and you just want to finish strong, then this video is here to really, I'm going to be sharing my process that I walk through specifically as it relates to setting business goals for a financial advisory firm. And if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave, and Tim and I run Streamline Financial. It's an advisory firm, and this is a channel that we made really to hopefully share some of the things that are working that we wish we could have heard about or learned about when we were starting out and we were figuring out what to do with Streamline Financial a few years ago. So this is all about goal setting and setting up your goals and doing it in a different way than what you might be used to. It's different than what you might just Google and figure out. This is really specific for advisors. Because when you think about it, why are some financial advisors able to achieve so much in a year while others work really hard, but they just don't get the growth that they want? Well, those successful advisors would tell you that it's deliberate and it's consistent time that they put into strategically planning the year, and then also planning the month and the week, and then actually fulfilling what they said they were going to do. They agree that the time spent either at the end of the year or at the end of each quarter planning out the upcoming period of time is a good return on investment. It's one of the best that they can make as they're thinking about their business growth. And if you're like me, you might have a continual desire to continue to grow and expand your business. You know it's important to set goals, but you're pretty sure, or maybe you've tried it in the past with traditional goal setting, but it didn't seem to get you the results that you want. And then if we do set goals, we might start out strong, but it doesn't take long for us to waver or maybe lose sight of the most important objectives that we should be going after. So if you're looking to create a breakthrough year and accomplish those most important goals, even if you don't know what they are, we'll do that in this video. And make sure you'll watch this so you'll get the steps to take and some of the leading questions to answer to help design this next year or period of time for you. So this is the strategic planning process to identify where to focus and then how to create goals that you can actually achieve. So step one is simple, and you've heard it before, and it's going to be review the year. Because in order to move into the future, we first have to reflect on the past. This step helps you focus on what you should be doing more of and then what you should be quitting completely. If you skip this step, you might not realize that you're off course until it's, too much time has passed and you wasted that effort or energy. Because it's important to learn these lessons now, or else we're bound to repeat them. We're going to identify the successes and then where we came up short, and then we'll discuss what worked and what didn't, and then what were good decisions and which were bad ones. So to properly reflect on the previous year, you must answer these questions. Number one is, what did you accomplish this past year that you're most proud of? And again, if you're looking at the past quarter, you can adjust. Well, what did you accomplish the past year that you were most proud of? Number two is, what did you do to earn that accomplishment? Number three is, what disappointments or regrets did you experience this past year? And then number four is, as you're looking back, what was missing from the last year? Number five is, what are the things I want to stop doing this next year? And then the last one for this section is, what are the three things I want to keep doing this next year? Stuff you did last year you want to keep doing. Now these questions, they may bring up various emotions. When you're thinking about the regrets, why did I do it that way? Or why did I spend so much time? Or I wish this worked. It's going to bring up emotions, positive or negative. So just take a minute to think about the emotions that you're feeling and then answer these next two questions. What's your most positive thought right now as you're reflecting? And then the next one is, how can that thought help you create your best year ever moving forward? How can this positive thought help you in the upcoming year? Think whatever you can think about, write it down. Now, by answering those questions, you successfully acknowledged what happened, learned a little bit from the past, and then you identified a few ways you're going to gear yourself up for success moving forward. Next is, we've got to decide what areas of the business are going to be most critical to focus on this upcoming year, this upcoming time period. Now, there's really 6 parts of the business that are most important. So we'll go over those, and then I'll give you some questions for each one of those parts. So this part 2 is define the areas of attention that you're going to focus on in the business. There's really 6 main parts that if run properly, that should produce a successful advisory firm. And we want each one of these 6 to be in optimal shape in order to see this breakthrough success that we're looking for. Now, if you're going to rank these areas, which we're going to do 1 through 10, there's going to be some that are high numbers and then some that are low numbers. If 10 is the best, 1 is the worst, it's common to see that there might be 3 or 4 of them that are below a 5 or below a 6. And these are the places that we're going to focus on improving this next year. So I'll be bringing up these next, and then you're going to be thinking about ranking them 1 to a 10. 10 was the best, 1 was the worst. So the first one is this area of marketing. Really, marketing is just attracting people to you. Are you talking to enough qualified prospects? And then the next part, separate area, is sales. And are they turning into clients? So marketing is, are you attracting people to you? And then sales is, are they turning into clients? Another question for marketing to answer is, when people get introduced to you or your brand, can they quickly identify how you can help them? The next area is one of service or experience, or kind of like our product. Even though it's a service, we have this thing that we promise to advisors. Are we delivering? Or we promise to clients, are we delivering on that? So are your current clients receiving the right amount of contact and care from you so that there's no reason they'd ever want to leave you? Are they getting the things that you said you'd do for them? The next part is operations. And the question is, do you have the systems and the processes set up in the office so that it can run even if you're not there? You know, do you have the process manual? Do you have the checklists that people can follow? Do you have the training manual? That's operations. And then next is the financials. This shouldn't be a problem, I'm guessing, for most of you, but it's financials, making sure that you're allocating capital to the right spot and you've got enough and you're doing everything right on the financial management of your own firm, which should be, I'm guessing, pretty good for you. The last part is people. It's the team. And the question here is, do you have that all-star group, that all-star team that are easy to manage? Because one of the hardest parts could be for an advisor who's really good at what they do is the management part. Now, that's not for everybody. Some people are great managers, but you want to have people who are self-motivated, who want to, that you don't really need to manage or keep too close of an eye on. So do you have that team? So those are the 6 main parts of the business. Now, there's one other one that's not included in here, but it's important. Or really, here's a few more questions just to think about as you're mapping and thinking about this next year. There's an area of time management and productivity. So the question there is, are you spending time on the $1,000 per hour tasks rather than the $10 per hour tasks? Because a lot of solo advisors, they have to do it all. But there is a clear discrepancy between highly valuable things and then things that anybody can do. And if you could get freed up from these $10 per hour tasks, you might be able to spend more time in the $1,000 per hour tasks. So there's a video I'll put up here that talks a little bit more about how to do this. So that's one thing. And then the next thing is just expertise in planning and investment management, just all the continual learning that we have to continue to get better and better, because people are coming to us not for really first because we're competent and we know what to do. So are you continually increasing your knowledge so that you can offer the best advice and recommendations to your clients? So those are 2 extra areas on top of the main 6 that it takes to run the business. So take the 3 areas that you ranked the lowest and then answer the question of, this area that's ranked the lowest right now would be an 8 if, and then complete the sentence. So answer that 3 times. What would make it an 8 or better? Now on to step 3, which is creating your future. Here's where we're actually going to take those previous 3 statements and then turn them, each one of them, into a goal. We're going to write down everything you'd want in each one of these areas. And we're not writing the actual goals just yet. We're starting with these wants, kind of what ifs. These are things that you believe could bring the greatest improvement to your business next year in each one of these areas. So here's the framework to follow when we're identifying these initial wants. We're going to write it down. We know research shows that written goals are better than just not writing them down. The next thing is we want to suspend reality. So don't filter yourself just yet. You're not committing to anything as we're writing these things down. You can decide later if it's realistic, but just keep thinking in that mind of what if rather than how right now. Also, think big. If you want your goals, we want our goals to be challenging enough to demand our full effort. And then also state in the positive. Focus on when you want to move towards and not what you want to run away from when we're setting these goals, and then make sure it's actionable. I usually state them in the I am. write your goals as if it's already achieved. Like I've hired a new all-star team member that handles all the paperwork and prep and processing, and they're hired by June 30th. And that last part is time bound. Just make sure there's a date of completion that you can have a deadline on. And then make sure it's specific. Don't let it be too broad. The more specific, the better here. So using that framework, you can identify 5 to 7 goals that you'd like to achieve this next year so that we can get those low numbers raised up to a 7 or 8 or above. On to step 4, which is bulletproof the goals. So after you create your goals and you start taking action on them, it's almost a guarantee that we're going to face resistance throughout the year. There's going to be times where we're going to waver or we're going to fall off track, and it's completely normal to do this. This happens to everyone. And if we want to accomplish our goals, we'll need an easy way to really pull us back to the center so that we can continue to make progress and then really change our firm in a positive way that we're looking to do. There's a big difference between the number of advisors that make goals and then the number of advisors that actually achieve those goals. And the ones who achieve their goals are the ones who are the most motivated to do so. They've got this compelling reason why this goal must be achieved. Sometimes the person who's most motivated has a lot of pain associated with this goal, and it's causing tough times and they need to get out of it, and that's motivating. But if you're like me, you might not be in that much pain, but you still really want to achieve these goals. So what you can do is create a powerful motivator for each one of the goals, and this is going to increase the chances of you completing them. So here are the steps to take and create those powerful motivators for each one of the goals. Number 1 is write down each goal from the previous section. And then number 2 is connect emotionally and logically with each goal by answering these questions for each one. So the question is, why is this goal important? What's at stake both positively and negatively? Try to write down 3 to 5 things here, and then look at them regularly. And those motivators that we're just thinking about now, keep them next to your goals in your journal, or keep them somewhere so you can see the why, the motivators behind it. Just in case you do fall off track, you know where to go to motivate you to keep going. So now it's the 5th step. We just completed the first 4, and really doing just that, you've already done more than 95% of advisors out there. So you're almost finished preparing yourself for this next best year ever, what we're going for. The last step is where we take real action to start making these goals a reality. And this could be the most important step of the whole process, because this is where we start to take action. This is the step where you begin to plan out the how. Now, there's a few recommendations before you start to plan out the how. We want to make sure we're planners, but we don't want to over-plan. We naturally are attracted to mapping everything out and looking at all the different scenarios, but it sometimes planning can turn into a fancy way to procrastinate. And we don't want to do that. We want to get started on these goals as soon as possible. The next thing is you can work backwards to break up this big goal into much smaller goals. So imagine you're in the future at the end of the year, and it's the day that your goals complete. Think back in 1 month increments. What has to be completed each month in order to get to that final goal? So this helps break it down into more manageable, actionable steps for each month or each quarter. And then next thing is schedule your goals. Calendar on your actual calendar, put time specifically for goal work. Maybe it's just goal reviews, or maybe it's actual action that you have to take. And at the end of the review period, if it's a weekly, 5-minute or 10-minute review, ask what's the very next step that I need to take related to this goal. And then be sure to celebrate small wins. If we're making a big goal, make sure you don't get discouraged. And one way to do that is by celebrate small wins as you're making progress each month or each week. This helps just with that motivation, because if you don't do it, you might lose energy. And then last thing is start now. Take the goals that you just made and then answer the question, what's the very next thing I could do right now? So what's the next action? The next action, if you weren't writing down things as you were watching this, go back again, follow the prompts and pause it and write down the questions as you go. And then keep those goals in a spot that you can look at regularly in your journal or on your desktop or wherever it might be, and keep following them. Follow the steps, write it down, and then reach out if you want to share. Or if you got a top goal, put them in the comments below. If you like this sort of video, then please give it a like and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Take care.